Welcome to Liberty Sessions. My name is Jay Price, as most of you know. The Tri-Parish Area Libertarians, Capital Area Libertarians, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and Ascension Parish have organized Liberty Sessions, which is our attempt to help educate people on what libertarianism actually is, some basic principles, some of the things that we're founded on. I'm going to be pretty brief in the introduction because a lot of y'all are already libertarians, but we're going to give you some really great insight on some basics, and you can take these basics and use them to help educate other people. You know, take this stuff and use it to your advantage to be better at bringing people in, to be better evangelists for the Libertarian parties. And what I'm going to talk about today are the 10 principles of libertarianism, okay? There's 10 basic things that you know, libertarians, we disagree with each other on a litany of subjects, okay? There's almost more stuff that we disagree with each other on than there are that we are all on the same page. But these 10 things, these 10 things are what define us as a party, okay? And I'm going to run through them real quick here. The first one is liberty is the primary political value. The second is going to be individualism. Third, skepticism of authority or skepticism of power. Fourth is rule of law. The fifth is a civil society. Sixth is spontaneous order. 7, free markets, tolerance, peace, and limited government. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with these because this is basically what we all have come to the consensus that we agree with. The first one, liberty is the primary political value. Humans are individuals. We all have different values. We all have we value our family, we care about our churches, we care about LSU football, we care about all kinds of different things. But when it comes to what we do politically, we have one litmus test, one single litmus test. Does this increase or does it reduce the liberty in your life? It all comes down to that. If something does not make you more free and more at liberty in your own individual life, it is not libertarian. Doesn't matter what it is not libertarian. The second thing is individualism. The individual is always greater than the collective. There is nothing more important to a libertarian than your individual sovereignty as a human being. We will not sacrifice an individual's rights for the common good. It's an extremely important thing. Every individual matters. Every individual has a voice. We're not communism. We're not socialism. We're not fascism. You don't have to make sacrifices in your life if you don't want to. Now, of course, we strongly encourage volunteerism, and we strongly encourage, giving back to the community in your own way. But we do not support anything that lessens you as a person and puts the group's well-being ahead of yours. The third is going to be skepticism of authority. Okay, and this is a really big thing, is skepticism of power. Government often claims that, we're going to make you do this because it's in your own best interest. Well, in most cases, we see that the reality is they're doing this at the behest of special interest groups or their campaign contributors. They don't do it for your best interest. They do it under the guise of your best interest, but they also, cause you damage. We feel like you have a better understanding of what is best for you in your life than any person that lives in Washington, D.C., that lives in, if you're from New Orleans, that lives in Baton Rouge. You have a better understanding of what's going on in your life and what's good and bad. And you have the right to make bad decisions if that's what you want to do. That's your life. It's not mine. It's not the government's. If you want to drive down the street and not wear your seatbelt and you get in a wreck and die, you didn't hurt anybody else but yourself. You're a grown-up. You made that choice. Government should not make personal choices for an individual. You should be free to make all of your decisions, even the wrong ones. It's not our responsibility to tell you what to do. Government can and should make suggestions and say, hey, look, these are some things that we've all seen that are bad. And that's good. That's encouraged. A lot of times Those people do have professional jobs that's what they do. But if you don't agree with it and you don't want to do it, you should be free to do that. You should not be restricted. You know, the seatbelt thing really gets me. It's a really big deal for me. I have a problem with that. I've probably gotten 7 or 8 seatbelt tickets in the last 10 years because I don't wear one. I don't. The only time I wear one is if my daughter's in the car because I'm trying to set a good example. But, you know, I feel like, who am I hurting? The only person that I'm hurting is insurance companies. That's it. Okay. And that's the whole reason why they did that, is so that insurance companies could have a little bit lower liability, you know? And we're all taught that it's such a horrible thing, but that's your decision to make as a human being. All right. Number 4, the rule of law. Rule of law. There are some higher principles that all of our laws should be based off of. You know, the non-aggression principle is one, which we discussed that a lot at our last Liberty sessions. I'm not going to go into it too much, but there's some laws passed and government actions are to be judged by these principles. The principles of our Constitution, the basic things that dictate everything. You know, the U.S. Supreme Court will often strike down legislation that's been passed by legislators and approved by the president because it doesn't fit into these principles that were set out for us by people way smarter than any of us. You know, Libertarian believe that these certain principles should be applied to every single thing that the government does, all of it. A perfect example of this is equality before the law. Every person should be treated the same under the laws in place, regardless of your sexuality, your race, your gender, how you identify yourself. If a law does not treat everyone the same, it is an unjust law, period. You know, that's why libertarians have always objected to the idea that laws treat black people differently, that they treat gay people differently, they treat transgender people differently. That is not okay. That is not okay. You know, a law has to be universal or it has to be gone. Like, most libertarians believe that the government shouldn't be involved in marriage at all. We think that, you know, there should be no such thing as a marriage certificate, right? But as long as that law's in place, it darn well better take care of everyone the same. You know, until we get rid of that concept entirely, we need to make sure that everyone is protected under the law the same way. Civil society. Voluntary organizations to assist with social issues. Now, this is stuff like your family, your church, civic groups. We feel like those are more effective at solving social problems than any sort of legislation is. You can't legislate morality. You can't make a set of laws that can dictate the way people feel about their actions. You just can't. It doesn't work that way. But churches, families, civic organizations, they're closer to the problem. They have intimate knowledge. They have intimate associations and connections with the people in their communities. Those are the people that can affect change. Those are the people that we think that we should put our faith in to help make things happen. One-size-fits-all programs by the government do not work. They've shown over years and years that they oftentimes have worse consequences than the problems that they were intended to solve. You know, because they're looking at a very big picture instead of taking it on a very small level. The civil society can do most of the things that we look to a welfare state to do. You know, those organizations could do most of the things that we look to that welfare state to do. Probably better in most cases. We believe in spontaneous order. Self-organization without hierarchy. Okay? Order means regularity and predictability in the world. When humans decide to plan out their actions and to plan out their lives and to plan out their things, they have to have some idea of the way life is going to work, some degree of order that they can base those plans off of. However, we look, as a society, we look to institutions, government, you know, organizations that we elect to make those choices for us, to help us put out a roadmap, you know. But we believe that order can happen spontaneously without those institutions, without hierarchy. A perfect example of this is the English language. The English language is a fully formed, fully cooked, organic thing, okay? Nobody sat down with a pen and paper and said, hey, I'm going to write English today. You know, it developed over hundreds and hundreds of years from several different languages, naturally, freely, with no authority dictating it. Now, of course, it created its own laws that went along, but those laws change even today. Okay, every year they add new words to the dictionary that never had meaning before. New phrases are adapted into language spontaneously without the dictation of some of the word. We believe that can happen in anything. We don't need other people to plan our lives. It can just happen. Free markets, free economic exchange. Free markets are the key to prosperity. Economic exchange should be voluntary between individuals and organizations. Government should not tell people where to work, how to save, what to build, what to produce. You should be free to make those determinations. We need private property to be able to do that. And we must ensure that when there are disputes, they need to be taken care of in an orderly manner, peacefully resolved. History shows the best way to do this is through free market rather than controlled market, government intervention, picking winners and losers in the market. That doesn't help us. It stifles innovation. The government picking winners and losers, and prime examples, the automobile industry. The ability to make the Tesla, the electric car, all of those components to make that were around 25, 30 years ago. But because the federal government was subsidizing other technologies like hybrids or diesel or a variety of different things, those things just went away. There was no ability for people to compete in the marketplace. So that's a prime example of government intervention stifling innovation and over time causing stagnation and it hurts the consumers. We believe that free markets are essential to any society. Tolerance. We do not force your moral beliefs on other people, okay? Toleration is the belief that one should not interfere with the things one disapproves of. It means that, look, I don't have to like what you do with your life. I don't have to approve of the things that you do in your own home, But that's your business. You don't have to approve of the way that I do my life, okay? But you don't have to live it. I don't have to live yours. We can go to work. You can go home and dress in leather and have chickens and whatever you want to do. It's your business. It's not mine, And that's the basic point there, A classic case is free speech. Leather chickens, yeah. I heard that's a thing. People should be allowed to say things that I disagree with, okay? People should be allowed to say things that I disagree with. You should be able to say what you feel, even if it doesn't make me happy, And I should be able to say things that I feel, even if it doesn't make you happy. Seems like a pretty basic thing, but a lot of people have a lot of problem with that. A lot of people take things that have no effect on their lives, and because it morally offends you in some way, decide to make legislation to try and dictate that action out of you. That is wrong. Libertarians never believe in this. Pretty simple. Peace. Non-intervention with other nations, okay? This is a big thing, and it's kind of a relevant topic right now. We authorized the use of arming the Syrians to help them combat ISIS, who we financed in the first place to combat some other rebels, So it's really kind of a slippery slope. The big point here is peace is a state where we can go about our business without violence of war. Not interfering with other countries is the way that we accomplish this goal. We favor a non-interventionist foreign policy. We believe that our interactions with other countries should be based to the four basic freedoms: freedom of movement, of capital and labor, people, goods, and services. Wanted to add a fifth one to that, be ideas, free exchange of ideas. And that's pretty much it. We shouldn't get involved in the policing of other people's countries. We won the Cold War. We didn't win that with military action. We won that with, blue jeans and McDonald's and Michael Jackson. Those people got a taste of what we had and realized that what they had was not cool. So they let it go, and they moved on. And they're all way happier for it. We never shot at them. There was a long period of time where we built arms and we took a very tense posture. And as soon as we just kind of lightened up and gave them some stuff and kind of had fun, it went away. Those people saw it and they took advantage of that because, freedom and liberty is a really contagious thing. People might not understand it at first, but, once they get a taste of it, they don't want to go back, Last but not least, limited government. there are just a few things that government should do. The goal of government is simply to protect life, liberty, and property. That's it. Anything beyond that is not liberty. It is not libertarian. That's it. A strictly limited government that has very limited capabilities and very limited roles. Our Constitution was drafted not as a power-granting document. It was not drafted as a document to say, hey, these are the powers that you have as a government. It was drafted as a negative liberty document, which means that it was drafted to restrict the amount of powers that the government can have to a set, specific, limited role. It was designed specifically to withhold power from the government, not to grant it. That's something that a lot of people get confused, But that's the basic 10 principles of libertarianism. They're pretty simple. From here, you can make all kind of extrapolations. You can take it all kinds of different places. You can make it fit your own personal worldview. But these are the 10 that we can all agree on and all build from there. And if you have a principle that's based off of one of these, even if it's a little out there, if you can bring it to that, you're libertarian. You're on it. So, ask yourself if you're a libertarian. If you want any more information on this, I can give you. I got a lot of research on this. I can kind of give these to you in a little bit more detail. So hit me up. Thank you.